All the problems of electric cars are multiplied by a factor of 10 with electric buses. They're phenomenally expensive, the charging power required is huge, the batteries are huge, they take ages to charge, they don't like hot or cold weather, the range is poor. I mean, the list just goes on and on. So this story from the UK is another brutal reality check on the horrible impracticality of electric buses, and is probably being repeated all over Europe. As always, it's the electrical infrastructure that is the weak link with these kind of ambitious plans to replace reliable diesel buses with battery electric versions. Compare with China, where they have a robust electrical grid powered by dependable coal-fired generation. They don't give a stuff about net zero, so they have an abundance of cheap electricity available to charge up a fleet of electric buses. But in the UK, where the grid is literally shrivelling up as a result of the insane net zero policies, electricity is neither abundant nor cheap, and believing that electric buses are a realistic option in such circumstances is just delusional. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt? Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EVs sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. There's a reason why the Chinese are buying electric cars at such a rate, and that's because their grid is solidly built and electricity is plentiful and cheap, generated as it is by reliable coal and nuclear power. Running a fleet of electric buses where the supply of electricity is not throttled by mad net zero concerns might actually be an option. But in the UK, Europe and here in Australia, we're proposing to force electric vehicles on the entire country, including electric buses and trucks, at precisely the same time as we demolish all our dependable coal-fired power stations and think that we can replace them with wind and solar. If it wasn't so deadly serious, the sheer scale of this cognitive dissonance would be hilarious. We had a similar story here in Sydney just a couple of months ago, with photos of huge diesel generators charging Sydney City's fleet of, quote, zero emissions vehicles, unquote. But the spin and propaganda machine quickly swung into action to debunk the story, claiming they bought the buses before the infrastructure was put in place to ease bus shortages. But if it weren't for the city's ridiculous net zero policy, they would have just bought some cheap diesel buses instead, rather than these expensive and impractical electric versions, and they could save the infrastructure costs at the same time. But because the cult of net zero is so strong, this kind of decision is commonplace. And like in Sydney, because there isn't enough juice to power these electric buses, they have to fall back on, guess what, diesel and petrol generators to charge them up. Heaven help us. Concern's new electric bus fleet may have to be charged using petrol or diesel generators. Transport campaigners are calling for urgent action to secure the land needed for bus depots with electric vehicle chargers. There are concerns Gloucestershire's new fleet of electric buses may have to be powered by diesel or petrol generators amid delays in electrifying the network. New environmentally friendly buses are being rolled out across county routes linking Gloucester, Cheltenham and Tewkesbury. They will also be rolling out buses for Gloucester city routes and major connections. Stagecoach says it will ensure that buses provide zero emissions and greener, cleaner travel across the county. The firm plans to get 24 pure electric, zero-emission single-deck bus BYD ADL Enviro 200 EVs to be spread across their depots in Gloucestershire. However, Gloucestershire County Council's spending report presented to Cabinet yesterday, June 18th, suggests that more than £1.1 million, which was allocated during last financial year, has yet to be spent. This is due to delays on the bus electrification project, as providers have struggled to find a suitable depot to deliver electric vehicle charging points due to third-party grid connections. David Redgewell, public transport campaigner, asked council leaders what action is being taken to progress the project urgently to secure the land needed for bus depots with EV chargers. With £1.1 million of grant, is there a risk to electric bus delivery without bus depots being secured, he said in a written question to Cabinet. He asked council chiefs for assurances to help support the delivery of the new government-funded electric buses being provided to Stagecoach in a follow-up question at the meeting in Shire Hall. What assurances are we getting that we are going to have the sure supply and the electricity in place in the depots of Cheltenham and Gloucester for both operating companies in place in time for the delivery of electric buses, he said? Or are we going to bring in emergency battery top-up facilities? We can use it using generators. You know, it's almost comical how councils, not just in the UK but everywhere, have put the cart before the horse and ordered electric buses to tick the net zero and environmentally friendly virtue signalling boxes without first thinking how they're going to be charged. These specific buses have a 348 kilowatt-hour battery, but the maximum charging power is only 102 kilowatts. And as we all know, the charging time is just the capacity divided by the power, which means that these things need 3.5 hours to charge at a minimum, and have a maximum range of just 160 miles. That's a maximum range. You can cut it in half in cold weather. And they have 24 of them. How many will they need to charge at the same time? Half the fleet, maybe? Already you're looking at a megawatt grid connection. If you want to be able to charge all of them, you can double it. All of this hassle to move to an electric bus that is far less practical than the diesel it replaced, which you could fill up in 10 minutes and would avoid all the problems of installing expensive charging infrastructure. As I said before, all of this just might be possible in a country like China, where the grid isn't withering away under the weight of punishing net zero policies. But attempting to do it in a country where the grid is withering away under those policies is destined to fail. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to the channel.